So, why did I decide to write Creatures of the House? Well, a little bit about me. For the last 6 years, I've been working in the animation industry as a storyboard artist primarily, but I worked up from a PA to a board artist position, and I have genuinely loved that job. It has always been my dream to work in animation. Ever since I was old enough to draw SpongeBob, I've always wanted to, you know, work in animation. And while I have really loved that job, if you've been paying attention to the animation industry or honestly just the entertainment industry at large, we've been having a rough couple of years, between the strikes and the mergers and outsourcing and AI. It's been really hard to sustain a job in the industry. And I've been very lucky to, for a lot of that struggle, stay employed. But the show I was working on for a very long time, The Great North, it got canceled. And, it's been about a year since I've had my last big studio job. I've been freelancing and doing odd jobs, but it's not really quite the same as, working at a studio. And to be honest, it's been a huge confidence hit. You kind of start to wonder, is this a sign? Should I just go do something else completely? Should I switch careers? You kind of start to wonder what's actually smart and what's going to be a sustainable thing for the rest of your life. And it's really hard, especially to stay creatively, motivated in a time like that. Really start to kind of get imposter syndrome and think it's all a fluke and maybe I can't do this. And I have so many friends that are employed. We all feel this way. It's rough. And so I kind of was looking at myself and I was thinking, what is something I've always wanted to do? We have all this free time. Let's do something. And I've always wanted to direct a feature. I've worked in animation. I actually didn't go to animation school. I went to film school. So I have a lot of experience in both live action and animation. And Creatures is actually the fourth feature script I've written. The other three scripts I've written, I love them. They're great. They're not as producible. And so I wrote Creatures with a very low budget in mind, with a location in mind. It mostly takes place in one house. And while I was looking at all the resources I had, it was how can I still make this film that is very low budget, interesting and fun and creatively motivating? And there were two big things for me. And one of them was the puppets. Making a puppet film just sounded so fun. It sounded interesting. It was whimsical. It was something I've never done before. I've never made puppets. So you're going to be watching me on this channel make puppets, and it's going to be very interesting. I'm very nervous and scared for that. And the second thing was animation. I can't animate a whole film by myself, and I can't afford to pay a team of people to animate a feature. But I've animated 10 minutes before, and I can animate 10 minutes again. So there is a large portion of animation in this film as well, which is really exciting for me. And it's going to be 2D. We love 2D animation. So I'm very excited about those things and kind of adding those in with the live action elements. I'm kind of doing that thing people tell you to do. I'm being delusional.